it's a problem. Something that you may not know are apportionment. That's the fancy word for money from the state. We get about $4,000 per student, full-time student. CSU gets about $8,000 per student. University of California gets about $12,000 per student. See the ratio there, folks? 1, 2, and 3. Yet our students, in fact, are the most needy students. And that funding differential is one of the lowest in the country, makes community colleges having to serve students with simply inadequate resources. Now, I know we need to become more efficient. I've heard my colleagues of a more conservative persuasion talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. We don't have those in our college, but we can get more efficient. We will do better with the dollars that the taxpayers give us. But at some point or another, we simply aren't going to be able to meet the demand. And I think we've approached that this year. Next year, with the cuts we're looking at, it's going to be even more dramatic. You know, there is a values thing here. When I talk about spending for education, I'm going to give you a little different word here. I really believe it's an investment. And you know the cliche, you have to spend money to make money. This is solid research that a college graduate returns to the California tax system 3 times what the taxpayers paid for him or her to get a public 4-year degree. So that's an investment for the society. It's a wonderful investment for the people involved. There are values judgments that have to be made. California spends more every single year on prisons than it does for all of its higher education. I don't think that's right. I think we need to invest in our future, invest in education, and I hope the taxpayers and voters will see it that way if and when we have that election in June. Last thing I'll say, we also need to do better in our outcomes. We have an awful lot of students that come to us and don't achieve their goals. The phrase we use in community colleges, we have an open door policy, but people pointed out too often it's a revolving door. The students come to us and don't succeed in their goals. We need to do better with that. And some educators sometimes blame the students. Oh, if their family just valued education more. Oh, if they just came to class on time. Oh, if they just ate a good breakfast. Oh, if the nuclear family hadn't declined. Yeah, all that stuff may be true, but they're with us. We simply need to do better in serving those students. We can't be blaming them. We can't be pointing out their deficits. We need to form a partnership with them so that they can improve their lives and improve society. So community colleges, I think, are a wonderful thing. LMC is doing some really good work. We clearly have challenges, and I really hope that the society will give us at least somewhat adequate resources so that we can continue to make a difference in the lives of our students and in this society. Thank you.
Our final presentation is by Linda Rondo, Superintendent of Schools for the Pittsburgh Unified School District. Linda has been an educator for more than 30 years. Her experience includes teacher, principal, federal and state programs director, Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Deputy Superintendent for Educational Services, and she's currently Superintendent of the Pittsburgh Unified School District. Besides working in 3 K-12 systems in Contra Costa County, she has been adjunct staff at St. Mary's College, my alma mater, and Brandman University. Linda.
Thank you, and good afternoon to everybody. I'm very pleased to be here and have the opportunity to have Pittsburgh Unified shine for you this afternoon. So I want to start by thanking the Chamber for their sponsorship of this event, and also to recognize all of the staff members from Pittsburgh Unified who are here. If you wouldn't mind just giving the royal wave. Thank you very much. Your support is appreciated, and Sue, you're ready? Yes, thank you. We're going to this afternoon do a little bit of an overview. It's what I would call a snapshot of our school district. I want to show you the journey that we've been on. I recognize some of the challenges that all public schools are facing, and ours is no exception. But I hope when you leave this afternoon, you're going to have an image of progress and pride. So I'll spend a minute on who we are, academic achievement, our human resources, facilities, a quick comment on the budget, and then closure. So here's one of our best features right now is that we actually have an increase in enrollment, which is a unique feature for any public school. And so those last two bars, the second from the far end on the right shows what we expected, and the final bar shows the enrollment as it stands for this year. So to have 300 more students in your school system is a remarkable statement. Our demographics are exactly as Joe and Richard indicated, very rich, and our diversity is one of our strengths. Our student population is 34% English learner, which as we look at it means that we have a lot of students that are on their way to being bilingual and biliterate citizens in our community. We do have the challenge of a number of our families living in situations of economic disadvantage, so a lot of our children take advantage of free and reduced lunch. That's not an excuse for not performing, that's a reality that we work with. One of the things that we are particularly proud of is our academic focus and the achievement that we have shown. Definitely, we are a data-driven organization, and our school board members are right out in front of us, pushing us in that direction all the time. We make clear curriculum choices, and what I mean by that is that we're looking at high quality and low variability. So whether your child is attending one elementary school on one side of town or another, you have a guaranteed curriculum for that child, and the expectations are equally high. There is a lot of work around articulation, so elementary speaking to junior high school, speaking to high school, and then on to our K-14 and our four-year colleges as well. Clearly, we need to know how our students are doing, so we do a lot of frequent assessments, and the intent is for students to have multiple opportunities to show us how well they're doing and how proficient they are. We're very proud of our professional staff. Our teachers are becoming more and more expert at their skill set. They collaborate. Our professional development is embedded within their school day and on special days. I want to give a special recognition to our PEA, that's the Pittsburgh Education Association. President Chris Cohn is here today. Thank you for being here. And of particular interest in the last year is our emphasis on nonfiction writing. So for probably many in the room, a writing assignment when you were growing up and you came back to school at the end of the summer was write about what you did over the summer, which in terms of what we know now is an assignment. It's not teaching writing, it's asking somebody to write. So we're really focused on what it means to teach writing. And here's what we know from research. In order to write, you have to think. And that spurs organizational kinds of skills and also motivates the brain cells. Teachers get diagnostic information when they are working with students as they are writing, and they can intervene or advance the student. Lots of research that when you write a lot, that you have increased performance in math and science, that it doesn't just improve the language arts, but it also improves the other curricular areas. And the link to college and career, one of the things we have heard from community colleges and four-year colleges is that students do not spend enough time with expository reading and writing. And so therein is the reason that we've taken this clear focus on this. Looking at recent statistics, it shows that individuals entering the military, entering the workforce, and going to college have the most rigorous demands on their reading abilities, and a lot of it is because of the technical language that is embedded in what they have to read and do. So literacy skills, critical thinking skills, and the ability to communicate are all reasons why we have focused on writing. I had the chance to talk to a group of fourth graders a few days ago, and Isaiah said to me, with regard to his writing, our writing is more perfecter. I knew exactly what he meant. Academic performance, or API, is just one way that we are measured, and what I want to stress is our continuous growth. We're not where we want to be, but we're definitely on an upward trajectory, and we're quite proud of that. The improvement of 21 points to take us over 700, the number of sites that grew, including by double digits, and Marina Vista, a mere baby of 2 years old with a 56-point gain. And of course, high school exit exam, I want you to see the upward trajectory of this and the requirement for students to be able to pass this exam in order to get a high school diploma. Our human resources department is our leader around, we're a people business. If you look at our budget, what you will see is the vast majority of any pie chart shows that our resources are dedicated to people. There are 984 employees in Pittsburgh Unified, so that makes us a pretty significant player in town. We have spent a lot of time on recruiting and retaining highly qualified staff. We've looked at enhancing our labor force, one, by building capacity from within, offering training and promotional opportunities, and also for those folks who have served us well and are ready to transition to another stage in their life, we have early retirement incentive programs last year and again this year. And having a staff that is working in an environment that is safe and risk-free not only saves resources, but makes for much happier folks. Our facilities, you can't miss our facilities. There's one pretty close across the street, and certainly what we have to thank our community for is the support that they have given us in terms of our reaching out to you for bonds, in particular Measure L most recently, and then that allowing us to become, have the opportunity to have state matching funds. Got a great joint use agreement with the City of Pittsburgh. Thank you to those representing the City of Pittsburgh that has benefited not only students and staff, but community members as well. You've seen a new elementary school, a new junior high school, and a new high school completed in recent history. And solar is the next frontier for us. A couple of schools up and running, and we will have 14 different solar systems that will be online within the next year, which puts us absolutely in new State Superintendent Torlickson's spotlight, because that's what he's looking for, green environments in our schools. So next, Riverside High School, Continuation High School, is going to be rebuilt on Stoneman Avenue. We have a new junior high school in the midst and some modernization, and if some persons in the room went to either Parkside or Heights when you were children, you know that they have more than served our student population, being 50 and 60 years old. So here's my comment with regard to the budget, because that was very clearly described to you. What you see is the darker bar, what we would have anticipated we were going to get if things were as they might or should be. And then you see the smaller bar on the right. So for us, the average daily attendance, the revenue per child has dropped, as was mentioned before, by 20%. And still, we try to do everything that we know we need to do for our students. It's a compliment to our Board of Education that they make decisions on what's best for students and what will reach their board goals. And I think Dr. Ovick will say that Pittsburgh Unified has one of the best records for fiscal solvency. Is that correct? Thank you. And we're quite proud of that.